Welcome back to another Hockey Nation live show and Habs Nation, the podcast show with the hockey coach Francis directly for Beautiful Country of Thailand. One amazing, great Tuesday night, June 11, 2024. It's Wednesday here in Thailand, but you guys, it's Tuesday night. Tonight we have a special guest, Frnck Bernard is going to join me from the Montreal HockeyNow and talking about the Montreal Canadiens. I can't wait to talk to him for the first time. He's going to visit the Hockey Nation live show, and he's going to answer to all your questions you have about the Montreal Canadiens initial draft for the offseason and the upcoming season. We'll do a little bit a review of what's going on with Ken Hughes and his scout, what's happening the next couple of weeks. We know Montreal Canadiens are going to select 5th overall pick in 2024 and 26th overall pick. 12 different picks are going happening for the Montreal Canadiens. And I can't wait to talk with Frank what he think about what's happening to the Montreal. We have a few people knock the door tonight. We welcome everybody. Don't forget to click on the like, subscribe, of course, the channel. And if you have any question about Montreal Canadiens for Frank, he will answer to you. So put the letter Q in front of your questions so I can follow up a little bit later during the show to answer all your questions. And don't expect the answer right away because when we talk about different subject, we try to keep with the subject. So it's just a way to carry on tonight. 90 minutes together from 8:30 to 10 o'clock. This is a new start time of the summertime at the Hockey Nation, 8:30 p.m. until 10. And then Mr. Frank will be with us for approximately 60 minutes. But before we start, we're going to welcome Mr. Leon Renaud from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Leon, how are you doing? Well, hopefully you're doing well. Of course, Julien Wiseman-Vezina back in the house tonight. Julien, how are you doing? How was your day? Luciano Graziano, the moderator directly from York. Maybe not York, and Toronto, anyway. And Canada. Roy from Bangkok, Thailand, back in the house tonight. Ça va très bien, mon Roy. And we have Mr. Nartap knock the door. Mr. Nartap directly from Toronto downtown. The legend, the co-host of many shows of the Montreal Canadiens. And Mark Elliott back in the house tonight. Hopefully, you're doing well. As fait rumeur est up between Montreal and the Ducks for Travis Goss. It has been sick with Martin Saint-Louis. Interesting to see that. Luc Lecorson, the L'Ange Gardien. Oh, Luc, what's going on? Early dinner tonight. You already knocked the door tonight. Marco Larabi, back in the house. Mr. Marco Larabi, co-host of many other shows within our tap. Kenneth, another from Thailand. Kenneth, welcome back. Good morning on the great happy Tuesday, Mr. Kenneth. Hopefully you're doing well with your beautiful wife. Claude Richard from Ottawa, dans la capitale du Canada, de retour avec nous ce soir. Patrick White, Mr. Betts, Mr. Money, call him the Mr. Money. Tonight he go with the Yankees to win against the Royals. Should be easy. Mariner to win by 2 runs, A+ against the White Sox. Frank Thomas, I don't know if you remember about the White Sox. Randy Walkman, another legend from Alberta, co-host other show at the Hockey Nation show, is back in the house tonight. Is a great writer for the Calgary Flame, the Toronto Maple Leaf. You can follow Mr. Randy on the Twitter. Of course, I believe is the fan blogger, if I can recall it properly. But tonight we have a special guest directly from Longueuil and Quebec City, not Quebec, but dans la province de Quebec. Welcome back for the first time. Let's further ado to welcome the door to Mr. Frnck Bernard. Welcome, Frank.
Hey, Pierre. Thanks for having me, and sawadika to all the people in Thailand.
It's good now. It's a little bit cloudy. It's a raining season here in Thailand from June to August, but not complaining. 90 to 95 Fahrenheit is about 35 Celsius every single day, so not complaining about the weather here on a great morning. But first of all, guys, maybe you don't know because I never talk about this, but for about 2 months we tried to set up a show together, and the schedule of Montreal Canadiens, the playoff, and the Hockey Nation live stream we do every night was really difficult. But finally we get the time to welcome Frank with us tonight, talking about the Montreal Canadiens. But maybe Frank, give us a little bit more how you become a Montreal Canadiens fan, where you're coming from, and what's going on around you right now and your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Quebec, so obviously you root for the Montreal Canadiens. I was born in the '80s, so my first memories from the Montreal Canadiens are probably around the first Stanley Cup and only Stanley Cup that they won in my existence back in '93. So I was roughly 6, 7 years old at that time. So yeah, it really sort of cemented everything for me. Growing up in a family where my dad is a huge hockey fan as well. As you could probably tell, Koyu was my favorite player growing up from the Habs. So, yeah, all of this really made a lot of sense. And then as I pursued sort of communications and marketing profile growing up, writing for sports was obviously something that made a lot of sense for me. So more than happy to have a shot with the Montreal HockeyNow team. I cannot thank the guys over there, Marc Dumont, Marco D'Amico, who have been fantastic there. And yeah, I've been writing with them for roughly a year now. Focusing on some of the draft stuff, the prospect stuff, and all the good stuff around the Montreal Canadiens. Really,
Yeah, I think you can join, reach Frank at that on the X, right? This is your ID there,
correct.
right? So you can talk to him, ask question. That's the best way to reach him if you want to talk about Montreal Canadiens. So first of all, we are really grateful and thankful to have you aboard. And of course, talking about the Montreal Canadiens, we're going to ask a question. We're not going to put you on the hot seat yet, but you're going to have maybe some question. You'll be hey, his coach is tough sometimes. No, it's not tough. He's just sharing a couple of good time together for about approximately 60 minutes. So let's starting right away here. And we're going to talk about what's going to happen for the Montreal Canadiens. First of all, I believe, if I can see that picture right here, I believe you write an article a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, if I can recall it, and you get some kind of interrogation about situation for the NHL draft. So talk first of all about that draft, what it was about this article, first of all.
Yeah, so I did do the famous exercise of doing the mock draft, right? So you really have to put yourself in the seat and in the shoes of the GMs. There's a lot going on. Obviously, it's not just picking a player; it's picking someone who fits an organizational need, but also as the draft unfolds, there are some sort of best players available, or best players that you may not necessarily feel could be the perfect fit, but are just too good to pass up. So it's really interesting as an exercise, because there's a lot of variables that you have to sort of deal with. But ultimately, I hope that I did something that makes a lot of sense. Whether or not it's something that happens on draft day is, I guess, irrelevant. But I think it feels something that could be happening
Happen.
on draft day. It feels like there's a lot of potential for it to unfold something
Yeah.
near or similar to that.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people do a mock draft. We did one 3 weeks ago. I think Marco in our tap 1 to 16, and then we did another one with Randy, Marco Dividano, and Marco in our tap 1 to 32. And everybody asking me, "When do you do yours?" I did not do yet mine. I'm still winning. Mine will be out. I always do one about 2, 3 days, 4 days before the draft, and I'm going to mock draft. One is about the team select what I believe you're going to select. And then I do another one. It's all about the talented, skilled players. So it's not exactly are going to be out, but how the pure talent of the players or the top ceiling I believe they're going to reach in NHL. So two different way I do this on my mock draft, Franks. But tonight I'm going to see a little bit more deeper about what you think the Montreal are going to go that direction. So first of all, to get there with the pick of the Montreal Canadiens, we need to talk about of course, the four the four pick in front of them. We talk about the San Jose Sharks, the Chicago, Anaheim Ducks, and the Columbus. So sharing a little bit more what it would be the full pick right there before we talk more about the selection of Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, I think the number one selection is no secret. Sometimes GMs are, trying to be mystical about who they're going to pick, whether or not they go for the consensus overall first pick. But my career was very clear. They're going to go for Macklin Celebrini, and it makes perfect sense for them. They basically cement their center line with Will Smith and Celebrini for years to come. Just, easy, call it a day. We don't even need to see you on the stage. We know who's going to be picked by the San Jose Sharks. But where the question marks start to happen is directly at number two. Some drafts you have a clear number two or three. It's sort of closer, but this year it could really go a number of ways between probably 2 and 8, really. So it's going to be a tricky one. I think the Chicago Blackhawks have a clear choice between defenseman or forward. The top forward probably being Ivan Demidov, and the top defenseman perhaps Lev Shunov. They could go different ways here, but I think they go with Demidov. Imagining a duo of Bedard and Demidov is just crazy to me. I think there's just because you need someone who can finish your plays, right? If you have this elite guy, you don't want to have, random journeyman winger. You want to have someone he can build chemistry with for years. And I think Demidov has the elite skills and IQ to anticipate and finish the plays, as well as set some up for Connor Bedard himself. So that's why, to me, I think the Chicago Blackhawks will lean towards Ivan Demidov here.
Awesome. It's really there. I'm still not debate. I'm still debate. And we'll talk a little bit more about Demidov in the next couple of minutes. But following for the Anaheim Ducks, now you go to one direction. That opened the door now for Anaheim Ducks, looking more for a defenseman. And which one they're going to select, you believe?
Yeah, so GM Pat Verbeek has been saying out loud that he wants a right shot guy. They traded Jamie Drysdale for Cutter Gauthier, so it created this hole on the right side. They do have Tristan Luneau, probably should be a second pairing guy once it's all said and done and they're fully rebuilt and a contender. So getting Lev Shunov there makes perfect sense for them. It creates this top four of defensemen of Mintyukov, Zellweger, Luneau, and Lev Shunov, which is just going to be absolutely crazy. So yeah, I think it's a no-brainer.
Now that opened the door now because there will be the direction to get 2-1 here. I would say to you, you can have the top four pick by two defensemen, two forward. But it could be three forward and one defenseman. This is a scenario guarantee, I believe, that will happen that way. So now you have the Columbus Blue Jacket, and what do you think they're going to go now? Do you think it's going to get a Lindstrom, or they can go with a defenseman, Dickinson, Zaliev, or Barek, or beyond?
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what comes up from the combines because there were a lot of questions around Lindstrom's back injury and hand injury as well. So I think that could skew things. I don't know what has been said or shown as a paper from a doctor or whatever that could, convince teams that he's either ready or not to fully be an NHLer in a year or two and fully recover, etc. That said, I think regardless of that, and while Lindstrom would make a ton of sense for them behind Fantilli in the center position, I think on the defense side of things, they have a very solid piece in Jiricek, who they picked 6th overall in 2022, who's a right-hand defenseman. But then after that, they have Denton Mateychuk, who probably is a second pairing guy, and they have a bunch of sort of B-level guys. So there's not like a clear first pairing guy that they could get that they expect to rise through the ranks. So to me, getting a 6'7" defenseman who skates like the wind and who won't be relied to be the offensive guy, because you have guys like Mateychuk who are basically a fifth forward or fourth forward whenever they play, and Jiricek, who can contribute offensively. I think that's a perfect fit for them. They have this massive guy who skates backwards like I've never seen anyone skate backwards, who can be more of a defensive presence, shutdown guy, pairing with Jiricek, who's also 6'5", I believe. That's a monstrous first pairing that they would have for years to come. So I think they could be very, very tempted by that.
That's interesting. I think you are the first time I heard his name go with the Columbus Blue Jacket. Maybe a few, but not many people think more like Lindstrom, Demidov. They expect Lichenov out with Zaliev and Anaheim, but you have to right about skip him. Zaliev, it could be with Columbus Blue Jacket. I think they have a really good, strong prospect. The Columbus Blue Jacket. I think they will maybe targeting Linkstrom and Fantelli as a duo. Big guy in the middle of the center if they believe on Linkstrom. Now, if you give now Zaliev to Columbus, that open up the door for the Montreal Canadiens to go that direction over there. I think I'm not going to talk about Demidov yet, but Igela, Langstrom, or maybe someone else. What do you think the Montreal Canadiens are going to select at number 5?
Yeah, there's been lots of chatter about a guy like Beckett Seneca, who is a big, rangy guy, who is a guy who's had an incredible second half of his season, who is, actually a guy that could fit really with the Montreal Canadiens and what they're building right now. But I think they go Lindstrom here. I think they need that big guy who can play with a mean attitude, which Lindstrom has more than Seneca, in my opinion. And then also, he's a left-hand shot centerman, which the Montreal Canadiens don't have realistically. Kirby Doc's a right-hand guy. Suzuki's a right-hand guy. Evans a right-hand guy. I do believe that Owen Beck is a right-hand guy as well. So having that left-handed shot gives them a lot of flexibility as well, not just the prototype of player, but also having that face-off option as well. So it's a small thing, but given that he's the prototype of player that they would love to have, that they could use more of, I think he would be the guy here.
So you go with Kid and Linkstrom.
Correct.
All right. Um, if you have a choice between, if Linkstrom is out of the picture, right, like Demidov. So the second scenario I just talked a little bit earlier, like the 2D and the 3 forward in 1D. What Montreal I was going to do? Are they going to targeting Igela, Catton, Eiserman, or maybe a defenseman? It could be Dickinson, Beyond, Parek, or Yakinchuk. What do you think if it's the case? So you reset your number 5, and now you give me your answer on that one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I I don't have insider knowledge on this. I would think they would probably go Iginla, which is a fantastic pick. I love the guy. I think he plays great, and I think we're seeing a glimpse of what he could be. But I think he's going to be much more than what he looks like right now. He's got the genes. It's cliche, but it's true. I think that's where they would go. That said, there's going to be a lot of really good defensemen still there. There's there's a shortage of positions for them, right? So it would require probably a trade down the road to accommodate that. But it's not a bad strategy. Some teams do that. They just go for who they believe is the best player available on their draft rankings, and they just go with that guy and they figure it out later. Not all prospects or player are going to pan out, and you have to plan ahead. So there's nothing wrong with drafting a Zeev Boyum here, for example, who would be a fantastic power play quarterback. Because let's face it, Lane Hutson's looked fantastic in college. He looked great with the couple of games he played in Montreal, but maybe he doesn't pan out as a regular NHL guy. I don't know. I think he will, but we don't know that. So there's no one else who has the offensive ability of Elaine Hudson currently in the pipeline. I don't think Mayu's that guy. I don't think Barron's that guy. Goulet is not that guy. So there'd be nothing wrong with a Zibuyam here. And I would be very happy with that selection if that was the case. But to your original point, I think they would go Iginla here.
You're absolutely right. I debate, and there's nothing wrong to have two puck mover, Hudson and Parek, inside the same at the same team. If something happen, you can make a move if you want to looking more. But um, I slippery to go with more like the with Igela, you have no risk. Like you know what you're going to get. With Langstrom, you still debate with a little bit concern about his health, everything like that. I can go like this. But I think if Montreal are looking also with the position, I think Langstrom could become more a winger and Igela more as a center a long term. So that would be the one I believe it could happen about that.
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
fair. And that's fair. And realistically, like we could have this conversation 5 years from now and say, wow, they could have drafted Iginla and didn't because he's now the third or second best forward of that draft class. Because he really has a lot in his skill set. He's a great forechecker. He's such a puck hound. He's annoying to play against. He's got a wicked shot. He finds the soft spots. He's just a relentless worker. He screams Montreal Canadiens. If he was wearing a Habs jersey in a couple of seasons from now in Montreal, he would be an instant fan favorite.
Yeah, sorry about that. I skipped the Demidov. Now I bring back the Demidov concern. For what you heard, the last couple of games, the vibe is a bit stop right there. Oh, yes, you put him second overall pick. I understand that part of there. But if you have a choice at that point, with Montreal have a choice, remove Langstrom and put Demidov there with Igilla. Example, I know you already select him on number 2. I believe you're going to send number 5, but the concern behind Dimitrov, is it a problem for you?
I don't see it as a problem. I think it's valid in the sense that he's played against very weak competition. That's the biggest knock because we can see the skills, we can see the dangling, the shiftiness, we can see the east south type of play that he does so easily and so effortlessly. Looks like, look at this, he's just so close. Like it's so shifty, so crafty. The skill set is there, but the question is, how will it fare against NHL competition or even like high quality junior competition? How would he have fared? I think it's fair to say he would probably be just as great and dominant, but we don't know until we know. So there's a bit of risk, but I think no one in the Canadiens file or system or pool currently looks anything close to what Ivan Demidov can bring. He's just far more skilled than any forward prospect than this team has. So I would have no concern picking that guy for upside alone and then figuring out the rest. The rest being, okay, he's got an injury. Can he recover? Probably. He's doing a combine with his agent, I believe, like a private combine thing soon. So teams will know. There's the KHL concerns.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry about that. Florida, June 18 will be the date for Dimitrov. The only thing is a bit strange about him, like he have a he have his front skating. His skating is a bit concerned from front scout in NHL. He's an orthodox skater. It's not. It's a little bit like how he can be so good at skating that way. This is a bit like the not a concern, but they are a little bit worried about his skating and he can reflect. That's the first one. The second thing, the fact he only play in MHL, never play at a higher level competition like again the men KHL or international. That's under some concern about him. Thirdly, he complete his contract for 1 year, and some rumor is the fact if he's not resigned with he don't get an extension contract with SKA, possible to shut him down completely. He does not play hockey at all. So this come with Dimitrov, and that's come with other players in Russia. That's only concern when you have that kind of player. But like you just said, this is a great hockey player, and he has maybe after Celebrini one of the best players in the NHL draft 2024. It reminds us a little bit what happened with Michkov last season. We know Michkov dropped all the way to the Flyers last season. Can this happen with Dimitrov? I would be shocked, but still not guarantee Montreal going to select him. To helping a Montreal get in fans, or maybe helping a Montreal, maybe he should be draft already before they select, so they have no complication about the dilemma about Dimitrov. So we're going to go to the next one right there. And the next question, guys, is about, first of all, I have a question for you from Marco. And if you can recall it, let me check here. Marco said, and I can bring here, I don't know if I can do it. I think it's behind. Here we go. I don't know if it's clear for you about this. Based on what we heard from you and the rest of the management so far on the type of the player they want to build, which forward best fit will Mo, Lindstrom, Miguela, or Demidov. So a little bit what you talk about this, but what's the kind of recommendation or they try to accomplish to get that selection fit with the mold of the Montreal Canadian template they want to build?
Yeah, it kind of depends which excerpts from interviews you choose, because there are some instances where Can't News will say we are going to do what we can to get high end elite skill. So we're gonna plug in skill, and to me that screams Demidov. But then they also say, we need to get bigger, we need to get tougher, that kind of stuff, and that screams Lindstrom. So I think, in my opinion, I think they have both these guys in a higher tier than Iginla, and they would prefer to grab one of those two. Um, I think Iginla is a very nice backup plan, but I think those two are probably what they are looking for, and they would be absolutely thrilled to walk away from the draft with. Now, if they're both available, which they would choose, I don't have that information, but I would lean towards Demidov. I think they're going to value high end elite skill, which is extremely difficult to acquire.
Yeah, that's right about that for sure. Thanks, Marco, for your question. I appreciate that. And let's move on for the my next thing I have for you, and it's the top six defensemen we have got for you tonight. Lushinov, Saliev, Parek, Dickinson, Biom, and Iakimchuk. Look like I misspelled Saliev. What it would be your order ranking on those six players I have in front of you?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think Lev Shunov is there to me with Dickinson on the same sort of tier. I think they're both highly projectable, kind of safer picks there. So if I'm drafting one of those guys, I'm convinced that I have a surefire NHLer with guaranteed floor, basically. After that, I absolutely love Zeev William. I think he's very close to that top tier to me. There's a bit more concern about his defensive play, but his offensive play is fantastic, and he's shown that he can shut down guys. At the NCAA championship, he's shown that he shut down Macklin Celebrini. He looked fantastic doing it. So I think that's sort of the top three for me. Zane Parek's offensive acumen is just unparalleled. There's lots of concerns about his defensive play. I don't know that it's fully warranted, but I would have him here at 4, and then probably Salayev followed by Yakimchuk. I like them both. I think, again, like, this is a year for defensemen. You're getting a fantastic project to bet on with any of these 6 guys, but I would say probably Salayev has more easily projectable skills, in the sense that he's just going to be so hard to play against. Whereas Yakimchuk can really put you into trouble sometimes when he just, goes AWOL in the offensive zone. That's something that can be coached, obviously. And I'm sure as an NHLer, he's not going to do it as much. But I would probably rank him 6th there. So Lev Shunov, Dickinson, Boyum, Parek, Salayev, Yakimchuk.
Awesome. A lot of vibe about Yakinchuk the last couple of days. I follow a lot of scout like him a lot. More what the people thinking for the big guy 6'3". Very good year with the Hitman and the WHL, and for sure. Again, this is could be like you can have 5 different scout and NHL, and you can have 5 different answer from those scouts. And it's the same way here at the Hockey Nation. We have different people come here and they have different answer, because it's a very difficult year on the NHL draft compared last year, where you knew it would be Fantasy Smith and Carlson and Bedard. It was
Yeah.
easy. But this year, it started right away at number 2, and that's what that kind. And plus, this year, Frank, we have a ton of defensemen, great compared to other years. That's complicated a little bit more. A player like Egela, Katten, Eiserman, and Elenius could be higher if the year was not with all this fun, great defensemen we have on the NHL draft. So if you think about this, I think that's a one. I feel like it will be really entertaining and and excitement about the NHL draft 2024. And before we move up, we have to move on to the next thing subject I have for you. Well, Marco asked you that question to you. Where does Frank think Reinbacher would rank among the top six defensemen of the NHL draft 24? That's a really interesting question. Marco would like to put the people in the hot seat, look like. And where do you put Reinbacher between those six players?
Yeah, he's up there. He's definitely up there. I think he's again like he's a very safe, projectable guy, similar to Levchinov or Dickinson. Similar to Dickinson, I don't know that we can expect a lot of offense from him at the NHL level. I think he's going to be a great sort of puck moving, also like great for the relaunching, if you will, of the from the zone and out. So I think that's his biggest skill, and I think he's probably the best at that in that draft class. Period. So Reinbacher to me is probably somewhere along the lines of the top two or three there. So Levchinov and Dickinson, he's in that mix, in my opinion.
Yeah, great answer about that. The next one, guys, is about. Let's move on with the pick number 26. About that, I know we can go all the way 7, 8, 9 times, but I want to give you a little bit more about the Montreal Canadiens. And at pick number 26 overall, it's about two options. You keep it or you trade it. So this is what you have to go with it. Number 26. What it would be your option if ever you go after that. If you keep it, which player do you think Montreal should targeting on number 26 before we talk about trade? If ever you take that decision.
Yeah, if ever they get to that pick, which I honestly think they're going to try to trade. But if they do make it to 26, I wonder about a guy like Andrew Basha, who's Caden Lindstrom's teammate. So if they do get Lindstrom at 5, similar to what they did with Slavkovsky and Meshar, where they sort of brought the two buddies along, uh, Andrew Basha could be a nice pick there at 26. He's a very agile, shifty playmaker, and he could really be a nice complementary guy. So that's one of the guys I could see there. There's also guys like Sacha Boisvert, Cole Baudouin, or even I'm blanking, but yeah. So these two could be nice fits here as well. So sort of like bigger guys who could be third line guys with size that could help you win when the games get tougher, which is also something the Canadians said that they wanted to do. So get a bit bigger. So that those could be guys that they could target at 26. But to your original question, I do believe that they're going to try as much as possible to offload that pick, whether it's to acquire an established player, which could probably be their main target or plan, I would say, or to move up. Because as you mentioned, there's a lot of skilled forwards who are probably going to drift and fall off in this year's draft because there are so many good defensemen. And I believe that was ultimately the gamble, right? When they picked Reinbacher last year, is I think that was their mindset is by picking the best defenseman available at that time, knowing it was such a defenseman loaded draft next year, they were pretty much guaranteed that a top forward would slip out of the top 5 so that they could nab one there. So I think that's where they're trying to accomplish. I think they're trying to get to move that 26 pick to get in the teens territory. I don't know what it will cost. I don't know who would dance with them for that, but I would think that's probably one of their goals if it's not for an established player.
Yeah, it's a good point to talk that way. I think for me, I would don't expect Montreal jumping there because it would be too high for the Montreal Canadiens to get there. If they will have to pay that kind of the level where it's really high, whatever is a defenseman or whatever, I think they would prefer maybe make the trade for get a Martin Netchess example or Zegras to get that kind of asset to get a prospect already in NHL. Secondly, I feel like Montreal are looking, if they move up, like you just said, targeting more between 2018 to 23rd. Like you have a specific player they want to get and they don't want to lose it at 26. I wouldn't be surprised they trade extra defenseman. The extra defenseman I want to mention to you, Frank, is about Aris Kovacevic, Trouble, those kind of defensemen. They can pick with the 26 and jumping from 26 to maybe to 22nd example or 21st, and then they get that player they're looking for. This is where I believe Montreal could go more direction at pick number 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We know New Jersey want to shopping their 10. They're looking more as a goaltender, what Montreal does not have. Buffalo would be willing to trade their pick, but again, I'm not sure Montreal are a good fit. They are well balanced and they have more offense, what the Montreal does not have. Maybe a defenseman, but will cost you high for the Buffalo. And Minnesota, or maybe a team I think Montreal could looking for to make that kind of pick at the trade. But at 13, who knows going to be there? That's another subject. You know what I mean? Like maybe they was targeting Seneca example. Are he going to be there or not at 13? Are they going to targeting Cole Eiserman and then he still there at 13? Oh, let's make a trade. If not, we maybe skip. So this is all the option you have. You believe you're going to trade that pick 26, right?
Yeah, I think so. And to your point, yeah, I don't think it would be in the early teens. I think it'd be more like between 15 and 20 if they were to move in the teens. I'm looking at teams like Washington who are not rebuilding. They're basically running it back with Ovechkin as much as they can. So I don't know if there's, a Jaden Struble and the pick 26 could help them in the immediate for them to keep pushing for Ovechkin there. I don't know if that moves the needle for them or some other player. But ultimately, I agree with you that I don't see Buffalo trading with Montreal. They don't have what we don't have what they want. Same thing with New Jersey. But yeah, it could be closer to like a Washington, St. Louis range where this could perhaps happen.
That's awesome. I'm going to move on now to the next thing, and then we just got a little bit about what's going on for the draft. Let's move on with a little bit. The can use off-season move. We talk about the draft, but what kind of other move can use it can do? Example like a trade like Kirby Duck or Alex Newhook or any other things. Don't talk yet about the UFA, but you expect that kind of situation and the trade market are honestly right now Nikolai Heller, Martin Netches, we have Trevor Zegras, and they have other players on the market maybe could get trade. Do you see Montreal Canadiens are going to make that kind of trade from Ken Hughes during the offseason or not at all?
Yeah, I think they're trying to. I think they're looking for those opportunities. I believe Kent Hughes said he was looking for those opportunities. And the beautiful thing about this is no one could see the Duck trade coming. No one could see the Newhook trade coming. They were all names no one had mentioned, right? So we talk about Natchez, we talk about Ehlers, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a guy that's completely off that radar because he's been pulling those rabbits out in the past few years. So I'm expecting the unexpected. So yeah, I believe they're looking to trade that pick, and I even go further and say that I wouldn't be surprised that the Calgary pick next year, which is probably around 11, is also in play. In my opinion, I think they're going to be looking at a much more better player with pick number 11 than they would with pick number 26, accompanied by a third pairing defenseman. So to me, that's probably a more valid option to get a talented and more established player than Kirby Dach was.
Yeah, I saw that. The time you were talking, I was thinking about. Wait a minute. What about if Montreal trade the 26 and a defenseman? I don't want to make a specific defenseman to Minnesota, right? And then Minnesota get that defenseman they're looking for. Maybe it could be 26, it could be Joshua Wild, whatever it is. Montreal take the pick number 13. They turn around and they trade that pick to the Carolina Hurricane plus a defenseman, whatever it is. I don't know. Could something happen like could happen on that one? It could be a third party trade with the Montreal Canadiens with Minnesota, or maybe a third party Calgary, Montreal, and New Jersey at number 10. I'm not saying it will happen, But this is the kind of mug trait proposal you like to do when you want to have some kind of conversation and the chat for that. So we'll see what happens with Montreal Canadiens. I still believe Montreal are not be busy this summer. I still believe Montreal are going to be around what they have right now. They still have many players on the contract. They have to spend $16.2 million was my video today, and we'll see what Kenny is going to do to improve the team. He wants to helping the Montreal again to be a little bit more close to become a playoff team for the upcoming season. We'll see about what could happen. Let's jump in. I have other subject, but I have already one question here. Is from Deuce said, how far does Frank think Eiserman will slide?
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd love to know that because I'm really curious to see. We're talking about a guy who was ranked number 2 overall pretty much at the start of the season, and I think that the thing about Eiserman is while a lot of the public lists have him in the teens range kind of deal, I think there's a bunch of teams who have him much higher than that. I think there's probably a good chance Philadelphia or Buffalo will very, very much look at this guy and say, we have a shot at grabbing him in the early teens. Are we sure we want to pass on this kind of talent? They have other needs. They have, Buffalo could use a right hand defenseman. Philadelphia could use some centermen. They don't have much in the middle, so they're probably going to prioritize position. But I would be shocked. I would be shocked if they don't, if it doesn't come really close for them. I think someone's going to bang the table for Eiserman in Philadelphia and say we have a generational sharpshooter here that we could add to Matvei Michkov and Owen Tippett. We have like 3 of the best shooters in the game. We just need a halfway decent centerman, and we have 50 goal seasons from all 3, pretty much. So yeah, I think Philadelphia is going to be probably the last stop for Eiserman here.
Yeah, I still believe New Jersey between 10 to 13. I think he does not go past over that. I think he will be picked up at that area. I think it would be I feel like a lot of the noise around him is maybe not that. Not it's true, but I think his age, his maturity is not there yet, and I feel like he is. I love how he scored the goal, but I like how he compete, and I think that would be a team would take a risk at 10 to 13 to get there. And usually the Wolves take a risk with Alexander Oles, if I can recall it, 10 overall pick. Nashville took Philip Forsberg. Washington take Philip Forsberg, 11 overall pick, if I can recall it, trade to Nashville. So I think Cole Eiserman would be that way. Now, Eiserman at the end of the day, he could become an excellent hockey player, or he can become another Wallstrom for the Islanders. So it will be interesting to follow him the next couple of years. But it's a big project that you get. You can get that. Take a risk. This is the kind of player you can work on it for sure, Frank. Now, the Montreal Canadiens are going to have $16 million to spend. Yes, they have to spend 3 contract RFA, Island, Jacky, and Barron. But what do you feel about the UFA? Do you think Montreal are targeting some players? And let us know what you think about the situation with
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to go big fish hunting. I think they could go for some depth. Obviously, there's a couple guys who could make sense. You look at I believe Tyler Toffoli is one of these guys. You have Jonathan Marchessault could be one of those guys. These are guys who could be very useful for you this year and probably next. But the real compete window for the Montreal Canadiens happens and opens, I believe, in probably a year or 2, maybe not this season, but after that. So I don't know if the timeline is perfect right now to go for big game hunting. So if by some miracle and some odd chance, Jonathan Marchessault says, "Hey, I'm willing to sign for less and play middle six role because I want to play in Montreal in front of my family, and I've already won and I've made my money," then yeah, you sign him to like 4 or 5 mil a year and 3 years, and you have a fantastic player in your middle six for years to come. But I don't know how realistic that is. They could choose to overpay a little bit, but again, like you're gonna be looking at Slavkovsky's extension very soon. So these 8 million contracts that they've handed out to Suzuki and Caulfield, uh, probably Gooley at some point as well, they're gonna add up. So I really don't think they're gonna go big fish hunting here.
Same feeling like you. I think 2025 will be the year for the UFA, in my opinion. Great comments about this. Let's move on now. The RFA contract. We have three players: Jekai, Barron, Eleanor. There's a bit hot seat on that one. Are they resign all three? If not, which one they want? And what would be your expectation contract? I'm sure they are really interested to know what you think about Jekai contract.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go bridge for both Jacky and Baron. I don't think they're going to re-sign Ilonen. I think they've gave it a fair shake. We've seen that this is a player that has a lot of skill, but doesn't play the right way, if we should say. He's sort of, he's a bit shy, let's say. He's not going into traffic. He's not going through those areas where greasy goals are scored. So I think he was useful as a penalty shot specialist, but ultimately there's guys who could probably fill those shoes. I'm looking at a guy like Joshua Roy, who's going to be an improvement over Ilonen right off the bat, I believe. So I don't think that they're too sad that he's going to walk away. And they already have a lot of contracts already. I don't have the number in front of me, but I think they're in the like mid 40s already, and it's a 50 contract maximum. So yeah, I don't think Ilonen's going to be re-signed. I'm not too good with dollars and values, but I expect that Barron's contract's going to be fairly cheap. I don't expect it to be too rich. He hasn't proven a lot. He's shown great signs, and people forget he's only 22. So there's a lot of high expectations because he was traded, for Lehkonen, who was a fan favorite. But I think he's shown great growth, and he's going to steadily become a legit NHL defenseman. He's just not there yet. He needs a little more seasoning. So I don't expect a high contract there. Jack is an interesting one. I think they want him. I think they want to keep him. I don't think they plan on letting him go. They see the value that he brings, even if it's as a third pairing guy. So yeah, I do expect like a 3 or 4 year bridge contract type deal with him. I don't know if it's in the 2 mil, 3 mil range, but I don't think it's going to be too crazy.
Awesome. Question we got from you. Which ab defenseman would you consider as untouchable, if any?
If any, I would probably say Reinbacher. I think we need to see this guy in the NHL. I think we need to know what we have in our hands. I would definitely want to see what Hudson can bring. He's such a special skill set that he brings that no other prospect has. So I really want to see what he can do at the NHL level. So those are two guys that I absolutely want to see full season in the NHL this year, if possible, unless they show that they can't hang in the camp. But I fully expect that they're going to make the team. Anyone else, in my opinion, could be had if the right deal comes along.
Some question from Franco from close to you. He's a sailor now, I believe. Do you see any Quebec talent that will exit as a fan base on the QM for the draft NHL 24? Do you have expect anyone you think could be excitement for the hockey fans?
Yeah, there's a couple guys that could be fan favorites if they were here. I don't know that they're going to be, first line NHL players. I think they're more like role guys, but they could have their utility and they could be fan favorites for the right reasons. I'm looking at Sacha Boisvert. I'm looking at a guy like Maxime Massé, who plays with Chicoutimi. So these are sort of middle of the lineup guys, but they have some nice skills. And with pick 26, there's probably the range they're going to go. There's a very likely scenario that that one of these guys ends up being a Montreal Canadiens.
We know Dumais was drafted, I believe, 96 overall pick 2 years ago. small player by the Columbus Blue Jacket. We can talk about the same way with Justin Poirier, I believe. I think he's 5'8".
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's built like a tank, though.
Where do you see him to get out in the NHL draft if he is out?
Yeah, I think he's a second rounder. I think if he was a couple inches taller, he would be a first round
Yeah, yeah.
selection, hands down. So yeah, I think he's a second rounder. But the problem with that, unless the Montreal Canadiens trade up a little bit, because they only have the Colorado Avalanche second round pick this year, they don't have their own, which they traded for Christian Dvorak.
Yep.
Unfortunately, some might say. So I think by the time that they pick him late in the second round, he's going to be gone. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, I think he's going to go somewhere between 30 and 50.
All right. Montreal 57 overall pick and 70 and 78. They ask you about the in our top by price. Do you think they will try to trade him during the summer for flexibility of the salary cap?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that because I don't know that there's that many advantages right now as they're not spending the full cap. So they're actually using it. When they get competitive again in a couple of years, it might become useful. That said, the cap just was announced that it's going up by a significant margin. So I think a lot of teams are going to breathe a lot easier. So they might not benefit from that swap there. So yeah, I don't think it's going to happen this year if ever.
Marco, talk about that one. Does Frank know if Montreal has an internal solution for the cap friendly Ben sold? Report today that some team are pretty screwed up now that is going away.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that. To be honest, I always assume that every team has their own internal technology that has that information, but apparently not. So that's really interesting. I have no idea. I know that the Canadians had built a big analytics department in recent years. That this is something that they put a lot of effort and resources into. So I would hope as one of the richest team in the league that they planned accordingly and weren't using a third party website for very important information, but I don't know that answer.
They have other website right now available if you want to go that direction. But the friendly cap friendly was very friendly to use. Forget
Yep.
everything compared to Puck Betsy, I believe. But we'll see what happens about this. The next questions come from Marco.
And that's
Not
sorry
Marco,
to
but
interrupt, and that's until Puckpedia is bought by another team too, right?
yeah, yep, sorry about that. William, ask you about Adam Nicola. What do you think about the development consultant for the Montreal Canadiens?
Yeah, it looks like he's doing wonders. We've seen him work with Slavkovsky, and it's almost like every time we see a clip from Nicholas spending time with a specific player, we see improvements immediately after. I think he's probably the best signature that the Montreal Canadiens have made in recent years.
Yeah, absolutely about that. Great comments about this. We have about 5 minutes, and if any other question pop up, if you don't mind, everybody. But let me finish. Remove that one, and then go for a little bit. See what you think about the Montreal Canadiens season 24-25. Let's talk about the roster change or not, rookies or not. So, if you're looking for the upcoming season, what kind of player you expect not being the Montreal Canadiens? We already know that Colin White and Tanner Pearson now returning because you are free and they're not going. Chris Whiteman is another one. But if you feel
Yeah.
like, do you expect change inside the roster to already have? We you talk about Islander not going to returning, you believe. So, what are your expectation if you have a rookie defenseman join the Montreal Canadiens for upcoming season at the beginning of October?
Yeah, I think one of the guys they're going to try to see if they can get rid of, for lack of a better term, is probably Christian Dvorak. They're still a bit light at center, but I think there's better options probably on the free market as depth signatures or even internally with a guy like Owen Beck if he has a decent camp, which he's had a year or two ago at a very young age. So I think they're going to look at that. But in terms of defensemen, I truly believe so. On the right side, currently you have David Savard, Justin Barron, and then Jonathan Kovacevic. I think they're going to try to slot in Reinbacher there. He was playing professional hockey. He's played a little bit North American hockey to sort of adjust in the end of the year. I really think they give him a spot, and Kovacevic can be sort of the depth guy that sits or swaps or goes in Laval for stretches or whichever, even if he's waiver eligible. That said, I do believe that by the trade deadline, David Savard's probably going to be shipped out. And that's probably when a guy like Logan Mailloux could probably get a shot. They might give him a couple games before just to feel him out. But yeah, unless things go absolutely wrong for him in Laval next year, which he could use, to be honest. Like there's some polishing that can still be done on his defensive game. So I do believe that they will not start him in the year, but I think they probably will be looking at giving him a roster spot once they do trade David Savard, which I believe is a very likely scenario. On the left side, I think Lane Hudson's going to get every chance he can have to prove that he sticks with the club. They will definitely push down a guy like Harris if it's not, one of those guys who's been traded at this year's draft, for example. But yeah, I fully expect that they will give a very long look at Lane Hudson to start the year. So you're probably looking at Goulet, Hudson, and Jack High as your left-handed defenseman.
Well said about them. We know you have some moves going to happen at the trade deadline. Anthony Six talk about the Warwick Evans. They have Armia, Savard. They are at the final year contract of the and 24-25. So some of them could be moved more during at the trade deadline. So I agree with you about that, Mr. Anthony Six. Montreal Canadiens and the sending at the bottom Atlantic, yes or no? Following, how many points do you predict for the Montreal Canadiens?
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one because Tampa's still Tampa. Toronto's still Toronto. I don't know that they're going to shake everything up this year again. I think they're going to run it back to a similar extent. Florida's still Florida. So it's still one of the hardest divisions to play in, right? So Ottawa and Detroit are probably going to be around the same spot. I think Buffalo is going to take some steps forward this year. Finally, I feel like I say this every year, but I think it's the year they actually make the playoffs. So yeah, the Atlantic is going to be a tough division again this year. So I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to win more games against other teams that they've lost this year. I think they're going to be, looking at more points. But I honestly, I don't think they make the Atlantic in the playoffs this year again, unless they do some major shakeups in the off season, which I really don't anticipate, or if some guys out of nowhere have incredible seasons. Like we said, if Hudson and Reinbacher are immediate game changers in this league, and Joshua Roy becomes a 60-point guy and Kirby Dach becomes a 70-point guy overnight. Like if all goes right, okay, maybe they make the Atlantic, but I still think they're going to be perhaps closer to no man's land in the teens, where sort of like 10 to 15 range overall. But I don't think they make the playoffs this year again.
There we go. And the total point, what it was?
I'm not sure. That's a tough one. I'm not too good with those projections. But yeah, I think they're going to have probably something like 10, 15 points more this year.
Awesome. On that one, we have a question from, first of all, Patrick Leroy asks you, what about Madison? What do you see Madison and the big picture of Mike Madison?
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. As you mentioned, I haven't even included him. I haven't included him in my current roster. So to me, he's a prime candidate for a guy that you move at the draft. I think he's a guy who comes off from a fantastic year, a career year, and currently is your best defenseman offensively. So it really depends. If it's a year where really Kent Hughes says this is the year we're done with the rebuild, we're trading Matheson for immediate help along with pick 26 or whatever to get that guy that we want this year, I think that's a very realistic scenario. Otherwise, I don't know, because he's he's on the older side. Yes, you need some veterans here and there, but like I don't know that he's going to be around when the team is competing in 2 3 years from now. And then will you miss out on that window of opportunity to trade him? The same way could be argued that Canadians probably missed out on trading Josh Anderson.
Great point about Madison for sure. I have a question from NRTAP. What do you see the Laval Rocket next upcoming season?
Yeah, it's so hard to predict the AHL because the teams change so much year over year. There's influx of youth. So are they getting Owen Beck? Are they getting Philip Michar? Are they getting guys like is Struble going to be sent down? Are they getting Hudson, Reinbacher, Mayu? We really don't know what the makeup of this team is going to be. It's really hard to tell. In terms of the veterans, I don't know that they've lost many veterans. I believe some of the core guys are still there. So I expect that they would be somewhere in that same range. But yeah, it's so difficult to predict the AHL because, again, it's such a different makeup. And the more younger teams, younger guys you have, the healthier your system is, but it doesn't translate to AHL victories. To me, a Calder Cup is at the risk of sounding petty or whatever. To me, a Calder Cup is not really important. I think it's really about developing the players that are going to be joining your big club, and to that, I think extending their coach is the right thing because they did do great work with the guys that were sent up. They were ready. You look at guys like Joshua Roy, they were ready. So yeah, I think they did a fantastic job, and it's well earned. As far as their AHL success, I don't know.
No, you're absolutely about that. I agree with you. I feel like I think for Laval Rocket, it's all about development for sure. Unfortunately, they have a couple of players like a veteran like Stephen Anderson. They are UFA now. They have to figure out what's going to happening with the contract. I think Maillet is another one. Three veterans with Laval. They need to be a little bit balanced. You talk about a team like Hershey are well balanced. You need veteran 27, 28, 30, been in the professional hockey players. And then with the new many players that Montreal have as a rookie or a young hockey player like Carrier, like Reinbacher, Mayu, and others are going to join the Montreal again. They share with Mezar. Maybe Hudson's going to be there too. Owen Beck is another one. So, really interesting team to watch again next season and for the Montreal Canadiens. So look, we respect your time first of all. It's already 35, so I don't want to keep you here all the way to the end. But look, you're bringing a lot of great contents here. Knowledgeable is excellent. The people in the chat are appreciate your time, but also like the way you talk to us tonight. And then we are really, really, really thankful to have you aboard. This is the first time, but I can promise everybody it's not going to be the last time. We're going to bring back Frnck differently. If you want to join us for the NHL draft, whatever it is, you're welcome. And you just let us know. But again, we want to tell you thanks so much, Frnck, and well done, well said all night long, my friend.
Merci, Coach. Happy to be there and looking forward to coming back.
All right. Have a good night, Frnck. I will see you next time.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much. It was Frnck Bernard for the Montreal Hockey Now. Did great contents about the initial draft. Maybe what's going on with the Montreal Canadiens during this off-season we can use with some kind of projection about that. If some question didn't answer, guys, because I was trying to follow up with the contents, what we make a plan for him to talk about. And it was well done by Mr. Frnck. And I think I can tell you the news now. Frnck's going to be join us as a co-host for the Montreal Canadiens and the Hockey Nation for the Habs Nation show. So a new additional person is going to be with us. One the time we give him a chance to be with us, but expect Frnck to be back in the house of the Habs Nation many times and for the during the second half of the year 2024 and for the fifth year of the Hockey Nation starting August 25th. Expect Frnck to become a collaborator at the Hockey Nation, Habs Nation. And you can see I forgot to ask this question at the end. I tried to wait until to the end. I want to ask him if he want to Montreal select Koivu, son Artus. But I completely forgot. I keep this all the show. Every time I say I need to ask you this question, then unfortunately I'll completely miss that one. It's my fault. Anyhow, guys, we have a couple more minutes together. We can talk about everything. We can review the game last night, Montreal and the Florida Panthers and Edmonton Oilers. Really cheapy game. I didn't see any, and I apologize, I did not follow too much the NHL update today. I follow more the Montreal game, prepare the show. I don't know if you have any fee game suspension. I don't know if you have anything you want to talk about the game number two, Oilers Panthers. Do you think that series is already over? Do you think Oilers can bounce back of that two loss on the road? And what do you think about the Barkov injury? Can he come back at the game number three? And a lot of questionable situation. Can the Oilers find a way to beat Bobrovsky? And what happening with McDavid? What happening with Tressadol? What about the emotion at the end of the third period for its front player for the Edmonton Oilers? Can they find a way to beat the Panthers? I feel like the Panthers look like the Vegas Golden Knights last year when they beat the Panthers in 5 games. I feel the same way. Oilers have no answer. Power play shut down. The PK of the Florida is excellent. And Bobrovsky have the key of the Stanley Cup right now to bring at home. We'll see what happened about this. We're going to see what we got in the chat. If I did not say to you guys, welcome, I apologize. When I have a guest, it's really difficult to say, hey, welcome back, Colette and Dan Asham, example. It's just to try to get questions at the same time. So I just want to say, don't take it personally. If I don't say you welcome, most of the time I try to do my best to give you a welcome back and the house. William, I agree with you about that. Frank, thanks again for the conversation. Thank you. Ron, we're 20 is another one. Ron, thanks so much about that. William, good addition to the show. It's quality news. Thank you. Jose behind Frank said it's all. You're sorry, Franco, about that. No suspension, Yamo. Thanks so much. Not much to review yesterday. Others was flat. Florida shut down Edmonton a silver game. Carey got a fine for speaking the not. Here we go. I think for herself, Florida much better. Only one fine from that game, however, slash the Florida players towards the end of the thing. So you have no suspension from Warren Fogiel. Yes, Patrick, I think he has the key on that one, of course, about this. Maurice said Barca will feel a bit more better. Yeah, I don't think so. You want to announce right away. Could happen. One is a concussion. You never know what the effect could happen the next 24, 48 hours, 22 hours. As a hockey fan guy, we don't like to have any injuries out of the playoff. Hopefully, Barca will be there at game number three. And we'll see the game, guys, by the way, is Thursday night only at 8 o'clock p.m., game number three. So we'll see what could happen. Was Atus Koivu on the NHL Combine? Yes, he was there, Yamo, the Montreal Canadiens select. Talked to him for that one. Wepler got no suspension. RJ happened by talking about big interest towards Eiserman. He said have not decision to trading pick number 26. I think they will trade the pick number 26, but I don't think so. Montreal will select Eiserman. Patrick, he has won a dinner with the team. It's one of them, but I don't think Montreal should select him at number 5. And I don't see Montreal Canadiens, at least they want to trade Cooley at Buffalo, or they want to trade Cooley to the Minnesota, or they want to trade the 26, the pick number 1 next year, plus Joshua Roy. Team like that, they will listening more. But I think this is a really bad move. I would prefer to use all the way those assets to trade for Martin Nelchess for the Canada if the Canada want to get those kind of the players the Montreal can offer. But I don't see that. I think Montreal make a big mistake to get Cole Eiserman anyway, and then to move up from 26 to 13. That's my own opinion. on that one. I think you come with risk with Cole Eiserman, and I think when you rebuild a team, the risk have to be at the lower. Now they have data we don't have. They have some information we don't have. But for me, I will not take a Cole Ezerman. I would keep the Montreal Canadiens, select Igala, Linkstrom, or whatsoever. If I'm number 10, 11, I would take Berkeley Catton before Eiserman. All day long, in my opinion. Yeah, too many flags go around Ezerman. And I don't want to have Montreal become another team, select like a player like Oldstrom, become an Oldstrom, everything like that. Uh, Now, the time will tell us what could happen. But again, sometimes you can take a risk, and the risk could become a great asset like they did with Lane Hudson. We don't see what Lane Hudson would become. But I will not touch Arizona allowed, and I will not touch Demidov. I, you cannot risk your pick when you have the possibility to be at the top five. Um, about if it's not who has is injury, any news is played Thursday. I don't have no news about Nurse. But that one, only rest to pick the per best goal scoring potential of that draft. Although having a temper than drum. Isabel having star like him and Sanva is not important to them. I bet he gets suspended if they was regular season. I agree with you about this one, Ron. If you look about the, if you look about that move, I think end the season it will be a suspension, no doubt in my mind for that one. At least they score a goal, and Florida take advantage of that, and again just get the W with that game. So not a very good smart move by Tressadol for sure. For the rest, we'll see what the Montreal Seneca is fell out of the top 10. You should try to get him. Is another one. I think Seneca will not be there. I don't see Seneca to be at the top 10. Now, it all depends. Yeah, at the end of the day, right? Number 6, 7, 8, 9. It's about where do you put Parek, Beyond, Dickinson, and Yakinchuk. This is where the draft can swing to one way to another way. It's all the team there. Can Utah take a defenseman? Can Ottawa take a defenseman? Calgary take a defenseman? Seattle take a defenseman? And then it's four pick. Can a forward of the four pick get jumped there? Is it Catton? Is it Seneca? Is it Elnisius? The team Montreal does not pick. Is it Igala will be there? I'm talking about 8 players from 6 to 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. What it would be the next scenario? We talked about at the beginning, the top four, it would be a 3 forward, 1D, or it could be 2 forward, 2D. 6 to 9, 3 defensemen, 1 forward, 2 defensemen, 2 forward, 3 forward, 1 defenseman, 4 defensemen. This is where a player you expect to be at the top 10 could be jumping all the way to 13, like Cole Eiserman or any other players, because the team, or maybe like Luc Lavorcine said at the beginning of the show, they are maybe targeting a little bit the position also with the equal talent. This is why I said the NHL Draft 2024 is so difficult to predict with projection, but it will be exciting. I can wait the 28 and with Marco and Artap. Then said, "Oh my God, I cannot believe it. They picked that guy." This is, I'm telling you right now, it will happen. It will happen. It's going to have surprise we not expect on that one to be selected higher or lower. What you think they would be selected by different team in inshallah. So we'll see what could happen there. Marco, thanks. We go top 20. think Seneca would go top 20 Nashville, Marco. Top 20. Yeah, top 20 is really easy on that one. Top 10. No, he said, I think Seneca will go top 10. We'll be interesting what team will get him. The Flowers? A little bit later in the draft. For sure, not that is so it does not help. RJ Calabro, some Quebec, I'll be fine. I want the CBA for selection for that. Kimikov. I think Seneca and Elenias will be out possible for both of them. I think Catton should be higher, but this is my own preference about Catton. I think Catton would be an excellent player for the team going to select him. And I don't know why Montreal doesn't consider, but that's smart because he's only 165 pounds, but it is what it is. Trossard basically throw his glove in the back of face. Happen every game, and the NHL it was back up. Just sold it very well. I don't think so, Patrick. If you see the replay, guys, you can see the elbow go straight up and on the move. Now it's not like an elbow like Trouba did, but when he hit the elbow of the not the glove or Trossard. Plus Trossard jump on the air. This for me is not inexcusable. This is a suspension, in my opinion. Um, this is a this guy. It cannot be acceptable to hit the head of the players, whatever you hit the jaw, everything like that. And Barkov tried to step up, fall again, and he did not returning in the game. So for me, with a jump of Tresadol, this is right there. Right there. So if Tresadol tried to go only past his glove in the face of the Barkov, why he jumped? That would be my first question for Tresadol. Why did you jump? Because he's 6'4"? Barkov? So right there, when you skate, quit the ice. This is right there, red flag. Secondly, if you elbow touch the face of the players, that's it. That's it. Yeah, no playoff, exhibition game, or international game. Suspension. Yeah, it's not, it's black and white. Obviously, like Roy said, like Enartab said, the NHL does not want to punish the quality of the players. But imagine if it was Corey Perry does it. Imagine it was Tom Wilson did it. Imagine if Desharnais did it. What would be the consequence? Is the NHL which change their point of view? I don't know. I agree, Marco. Catton is a tough one to have for me. William, Suzuki would probably be one of the highest riser in the NHL draft. And I thought, yeah, it could happen for Seneca because the second half, the vibe is still there. Uh, Something would take it would be a good take a risk on number 8, 9, 10. I think Seneca will be there. I'll be shocked he go number 7, 6. But I think 8, 9, 10 with the size he has, I would be Seneca go right there. But the expectation is right there. I think Seneca should be between 8 to 13 and after for that one. That's my point about this. What make you value Catton more than Benson last year? Is hockey sense of Marco, of Catton. Uh, really, really, really shifty with hands. I think is a better playmaker of Benson. Um, is going to have more point per season about this. If you want to surround yourself, the captain equals Sidney Crosby and NHL. Now you're going to join me, coach. What the heck are you talking about? The quality of the personality of the person who he is going to be a Sidney Crosby NHL. So those kind of players like that are great on edge work, slow the game, and see player around him. He performed guys with a team at nobody. He had the full set or not Rasset, Ricochet. I don't know his last name. He was 20 years old with that team. He carried that team all year long, guys. So Catton, the worst thing could happen to him, it would be a Nico Shire with the New Jersey Devils. That would be the worst. The best thing he can become is going to be close as Sidney Crosby in NHL. That's what Catton is going to be. Now, said that, as a guy can get 90 points per year in NHL. This is the ceiling I expect for him. But the personality of Catton, the way he play on the ice, this is a style more as Crosby. And this is going to have a career with Crosby like he accomplished. My point is the style of the player play on the ice. He see the ice great. He outspeed the play. Every time that you don't have to have the fastest skater. If you are smart, distribute the puck, see option in front of you. But this is the kind of player he will become in NHL. Like I said, we talk about Eiserman. Eiserman could become an Ostrom, and Eiserman could become a grader in NHL. Captain, I see the same thing. Captain for me is a bit more higher. Nico Shire for the New Jersey, or another higher like Jack Hughes, a plus for the NHL. This is what I see for Captain. For that, Joe Palota, welcome back, Joe. Long time we not see you, my friend. I think that top six need more grits with more goal, a character. Aguilar is a safe bet. Eventer, I would like it that enough. Joe, well said, well done, my friend. Exactly. Marco bring this a lot of time and in our tap. We all agree with you, Joe, about that. Welcome back, by the way. Hopefully you're doing well. Captain remind me of Mike Comrie, William. Captain is small, but is so slick with a pocket. Yeah, great point. Because we wear face shell like he did in January. Will be interesting to see that. Vinny James, welcome back, Mr. 007, or James Bond of the show. Hopefully, you're doing well, Mr. Vinny. I know you work, keep you busy, but glad you stopped by. Say hi to everybody. As well, respond, Panthers will respond, Randy. What about Ekblad? Play check all yesterday, or Bennett tried to destroy a knee. That knee on knee was awful, Randy. Captain would be a good player. He may be Sakic of his draft. Amazing 14 team pass on Sakic. Not a bad point and 26. This is my expectation for him. Gary Conway knocked the door after a long day. And UPS stop at Shawinigan. Lindstrom at 5 and the add 26 pick will be traded away, Gary. It's not, you're not wrong, and I'm not said I'm not said you are wrong about this. I think you can nail it, both of them. But I still believe I hope we don't get with Lindstrom, but let time we tell us. Forearm of the jaw. I think Trossard knew exactly what he was doing. Trossard have Barkov open for a beautiful arm hit, but decided to go high. I wish I could have asked you guess, but is Reinbacher main enough to be a top pairing D, and then it should is Chandler John. Be a top pairing. Yes, Roy, he answered that one. If you see, he put him in the middle of the Lichinov, Zeliev, and I think it was Perek or Biom about that, Roy. Like I said, guys, don't worry about Reinbacher. He's going to be number 3 or 2 in NHL. How about Reinbacher? Have a good night, Randy. Thanks to stop by the way. Tosadol got a 2 minute roughing, and that's what he was worth it. And then the Florida scored a goal, and that's what Edmonton lost the game. We'll see this one. By the way, I think that been in the final. A team that's not been there. We exactly Captain Live of the Russia. These play are not available as Russia and NHL. We'll see what happened about him. Michael, that Captain played more minutes than almost anyone else in the WHL. This point per minute play not a high as point at all would suggest. But he delivered, Marco. He could play more minutes, but if you don't score a goal, it's the way he dominate, the way he go around the defenseman, the way he retrieve the puck, and the way he control the puck. When you have the puck on the stick, try to remove the puck from his stick. That's what we're going to get there. But again, like I said, you build a team with captain around. You don't build a team with Langstrom around. Sorry to hear that, but this is my opinion about captain versus Langstrom. You build a team around captain, but you don't build a team around Langstrom. Look at the type of hockey been a play in the final. Captain Caulfield and Hudson Artois are your top 10 player. Is not a good playoff. Respect, just not a good fit for the Montreal Canadiens. It was Frnck Bernard, mon Nicolas. Leon Renault, I think you are right. Good point at home, Patrick. No, I don't said you're going to reach, but if you read on the Athletic today, scout from NHL, I will bring to you guys tomorrow night. I will show to you the comments of the NHL scout about the way he played captain. That's what he said, Marco. They have 8 scout NHL, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I can give you 2 or 3 of them talk the way the captain played like Crosby, Marco. And one of them said, I would build my team. Maybe 2 of them said they would build their team around captain and NHL. I don't want to say with Josh Anderson, but I will say to you, you're right. The way is limited. That's my point behind that M26. So, example, if he reached 70 points per year, right? It's called 28, 35 goals per year. He give you about 40 assists or 25 goals and 50 assists, something like that. Um, he have a potential, in my opinion, to become better to Suzuki. If you want to go that way, that would be the best way I can describe you for that. Great point about that. You cannot have a tough team with the little people. Oui, Monica. There's, I think, Langstrom. I think so too. I think Columbus going to take him. He signed a contract 1 year, I believe, Reddish. I think Marco, Lynx, and I'm not going to be there. I think Cannabis could get that one over there. The key behind that, Marco, remember, is all depends Demidov and number 2, Lichinov, Marco. If Frank said tonight, Demidov, Lichinov, he said Seliev, but I think Cannabis are going to go with Lindstrom. And I think that's the reason behind that. And I feel like the safe pick, guys, is Igila. That's safe pick. I know I'm trying to sell myself with Parek, but the safety pick is Igila. And one thing remember, guys, the DNA of the dad, coaching him, talk to him every day, born, grow, in the hockey world professional. It reminds me a little bit what Arizona did with the son of Shane Down. You cannot go around that late when your son is like Jerome Igila. No doubt in my mind, he's my pick number 1 for the Montreal Canadiens, but it's all depends what happened in the top 4 about that. Great point about that. N26. I was going to say that earlier. Not said that they take Catton. Not said they cannot trade Hudson. Not said they cannot trade Caulfield. Le temps with us. But that's the only way it could happen. It's time to go. I don't want to go. A lot of people in the chat, but we got to respect the time. And the time is very important for everyone. And we want to be sure you understand, not because I don't like it, I don't want to, but I think it's more appropriate to be on the time for 90 minutes and talking about hockey. What a great guest tonight, Frnck Bernard. What a great delivery, the merchandise by the new guest tonight at the Hockey Nation, Habs Nation. Tomorrow night, watch your notification. Maybe Coach take a day off tomorrow night. We'll see. But we'll be back Thursday night for sure. And hopefully you enjoyed the show tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed Frank. It was a pleasure to entertain you for over 90 minutes. And don't forget to watch my video. Every day I'm bringing you a new video. And I did not talk about this, but let's see go there, guys, if you don't mind. Frank, for my video today, guys, was about the salary cap for the Montreal Canadiens. And the 5th overall pick. Montreal Canadiens salary cap is approximately $16 million you can spend. That's not including Jackie Barron and Elonen, if they want to go that direction. So we'll see what happens, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to click on the likes. And I look forward to see you at next time. Until then, my friend, you know what I'm talking about because the legend and of that one, Luc Lafortune. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome, everybody. Thanks to be with us tonight. Great content, great people in the chat. The moderator, thanks so much. And after Juan and, of course, Luciano Graziano. Thank you, RJ Calabro, on the update. And, of course, all the people participate tonight. Click on the likes. And the people come back every single night. Patrick, N26, Logan Person, and many of you. Randy Walkman also. And I can go all the way like this. The list is so big. I cannot mention all of your names. I can tell you one more thing. Be well, be L. Find a way not only to dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half of the what? Someone said 2024. Until the next time, my friend, the Hockey Nation I show, the Habs Nation want to tell you one more thing. We love you, friends. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow night or Thursday night. Thanks so much, Nicolas. And number 007, notre ami Vinny James. Luc Laportine, Arzu Calabro, Patrick White. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Have an amazing, great night. Good luck for your bets. Oh. Booyah!